So we've still got, yeah, in another 2 weeks, in another 10 days' time. You go first then. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Shri Damodar Yashodama ki, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Namamishwaram Satchidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Prajamanam Bolo. Yashoda Violukala Dapamana Paramrishta Matyanta To Drutya Gopya. Namamishwaram Satchidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana. Yashoda Violukala Dapamana Paramrishta Matyanta To Drutya Gopya. Rudam Tumu Netra Jugman Mrijantam Karamboja Yogmena Satan Kanetram. Muhushwashakam Patri Reka Kakanta Stita Gravyam Damodaram Bhaktivedanta. Shwashakam Patireka Kakanta Stita Gravyam Damodaram Bhaktivedanta. Viti Dvikshvalila Bhirananda Kunte Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam. Tadiyasitanyasyu Bhakta Jitavam Puna Prematastam Satta Pritivande. Sitanesu Bhakta Jitavam Puna Prematastam Satta Vritivande. Varam Deva Moksham Na Moksham Vadimva Nachanyam Vrineham Vare Saribha. Varam Idam Tiva Punata Gopala Balam Sada Memanasya Viras Kimanye. Idam Tiva Punata Gopala Balam Sada Memanasya Viras Kimanye. Mukham Bojam Atyantanile Fritam Kuntalesh Nigda Raktas Jagopya. Muhushumbitam Bimba Rakta Darame Manasya Virasta Malam Lakshalabhai. Muhushumbitam Bimba Rakta Darame Manasya Virastam Alam Lakshalabhai. Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jalabdi Magnam. Namo Devodamora Rayanta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jalabdi Magnam. Kripadrishti Vrishyati Dinam Bhatanu Grihane Shamamagya Medakshidrisha. Kripadrishti Kripadrishti Vrishyati Dinam Bhatanu Grihane Shamamagya Medakshidrishai. Kuveratmo Yobadya Mutai Vajatvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha. Tvema bhaktim sakya me prayacha Namoksha graho me stida mudareha Tata prema bhaktim Tata prema bhaktim sakya me prayacha Namoksha graho me stida mudarehe Tata prema bhaktim sakya me Namaste tudam nispuradim Pradiptidamne Tvadeyodarayasta Vishvashadamne Namaste Tudamne Spuradiptidamne Tvadeyodarayasta Vishvashadamne Namaste Tudamne Spuradiptidamne Namo Radhika Vaittvadiya Priyaye Namo Antalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Radhika Namo Radhika Vaittvadiya Priyaye Namo Antalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Ishvaram Satchidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamana Namah Ishvaram Satchidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Violuka Ladapamana Paramrishta Matyanta Todrutya Gopya Yashoda Violuka Ladapamana Paramrishta Matyanta Todrutya Gopya Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jayo Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jayo Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jayo Radha. Jayo Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jayo Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Radhe. Jayo Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda 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 Radhe Radhe. Jayo Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Jayo Jayo Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. 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 Jayo Gauranita, Jayo Gauranita, Jayo Gauranita, Jayo Gauranita, Jayo. Jayo Gauranita, Jayo Gauranita, Jayo Gauranita, Jayo Gauranita. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge and bliss, whose shark-shaped earrings are swaying to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokul, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who run after him with great speed to that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing, due to crying to this Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound not with ropes, but with mother's pure love. I offer my humble obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokul in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in the knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodar hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours at Balagopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use of any other boon besides this? O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are no use to me. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodar, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodar, just as the 2 sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Nalukuvar, were delivered from the curse of Narad and made into great devotees by you in your form as baby tied with rope to a wooden grinding mortar, in the same way, please give to me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodar, I first of all offer my obeisance to the brilliantly effulgent robe that binds your belly. I then offer my obeisance to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all my obeisance to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Shri Shri Yashoda Damodar ki, Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki, Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shri Shri Gonitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, play your flute. Namaste. Namaste Narasimhaya. Pralada Lada Daine. Pralada Lada Daine. Hiranyakashi Purvaksha. Hiranyakashi Purvaksha. Shilatanka Nakalaye. Shilatanka Nakalaye. Singha Parato Nasimha. Ito Nasimha Parato Nasimha. yamitato nasimha. Yato yato yamitato nasimha. Bhare nasimho hridaye nasimho. Bhare nasimho hridaye nasimho. Narasimha adim sharanam prapade. Narasimha adim sharanam prapade. Tavakara kamala varenaka bhakuta singha. Dalidari ranyakashipu tanuvrinda. Keshavadrita narahari rupa. Jaya Ganesha Hare. Jaya Jagadeesha Hare. Jaya Jagadeesha Hare. Tavakara kamala varenaka bhakuta singha. Dalidari ranyakashipu tanuvrinda. Keshavadrita narahari rupa. Jaya Jagadeesha Hare. Jaya Jagadeesha Hare. Jaya Jagadeesha Hare. Jayo Nashingade, Jayo Nashingade, Jayo Nashingade, Jayo Nashingade. Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj. Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jayo Gurudev, 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 Jayo Jayo Gurudev. Jai Singh Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for all of you for attending today, especially my band here. Give a nice applause for Dhruva Prabhu. Give a nice applause. What's your name? Nice applause for Lena and all of you. Haribol. Please take a shot. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you for making, a trip all the way from Leeds just to come and play here.
He wants to play.
Oh, Haribol Prabhu, thank you very much for your Madanga play. It was fantastic. I didn't see it at the back. I could just hear the drum, boom, boom, boom. Haribol, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, bye. Chalo, prashad le.
I gave you, I sent you all the recordings and video and everything, yeah?
Wow.
Send it to Lena as well.
Okay.
hardly remember, I don't realize.
Prabhuji, once again, thank you for the wonderful Dhamma. I was looking forward to your. After listening to you, I really was like, that is when I started. First time I heard
the first
when
time.
you played a few years back.
I'm on.
And ever since it's become my favorite. I played at 4:30.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, the 4:20 one.
So nice, so nice.
Yeah.
Mari pasi chair tumhare paas hai, Prashad.
Very
Chair.
well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. I got Prashad for you as well.
Prabhuji, your tabla was very beautiful, very nicely played. Your drums was very nice. Thanks for playing. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Dhruva, yeah.
Okay, it was in Brown service.
Alpha. 20 minutes, 20:05. Okay. Because this is a temple, and he will have to ring me because it's a car park and it's a bit inside. So if he rings me, I can guide him. And also the temple is closing now, but people are eating, so it will close. So we are better be there on time. Hare Krishna Temple. Bhaktivedanta Manor, Hare Krishna Temple. I am in the temple inside and the car park is just outside. Like I can see it from here. Okay, thank you. I can also download that, but I am saving my time. After all this finish, there is another question. 7:30 So he's asking something unusual. Biscuit वाला चलवा biscuit नहीं चलवा biscuit ले
Girivaradari Yaya Gopiyanavalava Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vrayoyanarandana Yasodanandana Vrayoyanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yayorada Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayorada Madhava Kunja Vihari Yaya Gopiyanavalava Girivaradari Jaya Gopiyanavalava Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vrayoyanarandana Yasodanandana Vrayoyanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yayorada Madhava Kunja Vihari Yayorada Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopiyanavalava Girivaradari Jaya Gopiyanavalada Girivaradari Yasodanandana Vrayoyanarandana Yasodanandana Vrayoyanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yayo Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Sri Radhe. Jayo Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda Sri Radhe. Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol. Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Utale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Goswami Iti Namine. Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Utale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Sarasvati Deva Koravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunjavadi Pachataya Satarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Yagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tanta Kanchara Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Offer respecto al obeisances to the all auspicious Lord Ramachandra, the Lord of the Raghu dynasty and the husband of Sita Devi. Offer respecto al obeisances to Gornitai, the most compassionate forms of the Lord. I pray that I could say something that could benefit you and your spiritual path.
How is the monarch?
I don't know.
I really don't know.
I haven't seen it.
No, how is he now? Where is he? I don't know him.
We're going to read today the chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute, text 29, translation. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death and take refuge in me, in my devotional service, they actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Let's read now the Sanskrit. Yara marana mokshaya mam asritya yatami ye te brahma tat vidu krishnanam adbhayatmam karma chakhilam. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Birth, death, old age, and disease affect this material body, but not the spiritual body. There is no birth, death, and old age and disease for the spiritual body. So, one who attains a spiritual body becomes one of the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in eternal devotional service, is really liberated. Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit. It is said that one should understand that he is Brahman, spirit soul. This Brahman conception of life is also in devotional service, as described in this verse. The pure devotees are transcendentally situated on the Brahman platform, and they know everything about transcendental activities. 4 kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in the transcendental service of the Lord achieve their respective goals. And by the grace of the Supreme Lord, when they are fully Krishna consciousness, they actually enjoy a spiritual association with the Supreme Lord. But those who are worshippers of demigods never reach the Supreme Lord in his supreme planet. Even the less intelligent Brahman realized person cannot reach the supreme planet of Krishna known as Goloka Vrindavan. Only persons who perform activities in Krishna consciousness, Mamam Ashritaya, are actually entitled to be called Brahman because they are actually endeavoring to reach the Krishna planet. Such persons have no misgiving about Krishna, and thus they are factually Brahman. Those who are engaged in worshipping the form of Archana of the Lord, or who are engaged in meditation of the Lord simply for liberation from material bondage, also know by the grace of the Lord the purport of Brahman Adibhuta, as explained by the Lord in the next chapter. I pray that I could say something that could help you in your spiritual path. Today we're gonna talk about about those devotees that are considered Brahman for the Lord, are considered spirit soul that have attained the spiritual body. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are Brahman because they know everything about transcendental activities. In this verse, the Lord is referring to those devotees that have dedicated their lives to devotional service. Those devotees know that this material body is meant to be used to go back to Godhead. They had realized that they are the spirit soul that lives within the body, not the gross body. For these persons, the most important aspect of their lives is their devotional practice. They understood that by surrendering to the Lord, they find true happiness. They see themselves as part and parcel of the Lord. And they are aware that Paramatma, the Lord, lives within them, and they try to seek Paramatma realization. These devotees, the Lord called them Brahman because they are endeavoring to reach Goloka Vrindavan by serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. The purport does not refer if those devotees are Madhyama Adhikari or Uttama Adhikari. Most likely is referring to those two types of devotees. Uttama Adhikari, even in this planet, is already liberated because he is fully Krishna consciousness. And Madhyama Adhikari is endeavoring to reach Goloka Vrindavan, so he can also be called Brahman. With the word Brahman, the Lord is referring to the spirit soul, to the spiritual body, because we are that spiritual body that lives in this body. A person that has realized even this in this world is already considered liberated. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada refers to 4 kinds of impure devotees: the distress, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, the one that is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Those engage in devotional service, and they try to achieve their goal by the mercy of the Lord and by the association of the pure devotee, they can become Krishna consciousness and they can awake love for the Lord. In the purpose, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that persons that seek the blessings of the Lord for material reasons, they get those material desires fulfilled, but they could also become devotees of the Lord. And those 4 impure devotees are called, as we said, distress, desire of wealth, inquisitive, or search of the Absolute. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport 7.16 that this type of devotees, they obey the regulative principles. They follow the regulative principles, and more or less they are devoted to the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada refers to them as impure devotees. Why do they are considered impure devotees? Because the devotional service that they offer to the Lord is considered impure. And why is that? Because they are expecting something in exchange. Pure devotional service is just for the pleasure of the Lord, without any desire or desire to obtain something in return. And these 4 types of devotees, the one that is in distress, the one that is desire wealth, the one that is inquisitive, and the one that is seeking knowledge of the absolute, they have material desires. So their devotional service is considered impure. If we think about these 4 categories and we try to think in our own devotional service, we cannot consider that our own devotional service is pure. Haribol. I'm sorry, I was trying to call you because there is no Vyasa-san. Yeah, it's okay, I just sit here, it's okay. It's okay, thank you so much for doing that. So, if we think in how, when do we, I'm just talking now, are you going to stay? So I just review a little bit? Okay, I review a little bit what I have read. Thank you. You don't know if they can see me, but it's normally here, the Vyasa-san, no? Or isn't it more farther there?
I think usually it's here.
I don't know myself because I just normally pull it here. No, I just put here because I don't remember well where normally it is. It is more there? Okay, so I should move there? Okay. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I should be here.
It's just like good. And then like people coming and going.
Yeah, I
People
know.
concentrate. And I think
Yeah, usually.
and then it starts like ringing and then that.
I'm going to read the Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to read the Bhagavad Gita. And I read the Bhagavad Gita class.
So they were not really seeing me when I was giving class. That was one. Okay. But they were listening at least. Okay. So I'm just gonna talk briefly about like. Okay, we had like I'm just gonna read briefly the verse so we can get more like. It's like text 29, chapter 7. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They're actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. So, like, I was just talking briefly about the purport and about like the verse, no? In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that like these devotees, are like devotees that are like already Brahman. When they call them Brahman, the Lord is referring that they are already in the spiritual body. So those devotees know that this material body is meant to be used to go back to Godhead. They have realized that they are the spirit soul that lives within the body, not the gross body. For this person, the most important aspect is the devotional practice, and they are surrendered to the Lord, and they find true happiness in that. They see themselves as part and parcel of the Lord, and they are aware that Paramatma lives within them. And then they try to seek Paramatma realization. So they know that Paramatma lives in them. Then these devotees are trying to go back to Goloka Vrindavan, and because that they're called Brahman. Then I was just explaining that it's not clear if those are only Uttama Adhikari, maybe they're also Madhyama Adhikari, because though Uttama Adhikari is liberated, is fully in Krishna consciousness and considered liberated, Madhyama Adhikari is also endeavoring to reach Goloka Vrindavan. And in the purport is saying that like those devotees that are endeavoring to reach Goloka Vrindavan, they're considered Brahman. So then in the purport also refers to 4 kinds of impure devotees: the distress, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and the searching of knowledge of the absolute. And it was being explained that like these devotees, they offer impure devotional service to the Lord, but because they are waiting for something in exchange, even could be very subtle. It's most likely they are waiting for something in exchange. And pure devotional service is just for the pleasure of the Lord. And I believe we are not in that platform just yet. It's more like a platform of like Uttama, Adhikari, that can really, they're fully Krishna conscious and can offer a very pure service to the Lord. Most of us, we met the devotees and we are trying to become a devotee, and we join Krishna consciousness. We join ISKCON because we were among those four categories. I can say myself that, for example, I was in the distress category because my mother died and that. And most of us we stay in ISKCON and we continue our devotional practices because we are still in one of those four categories. It's very difficult to move away. I can tell, for example, that like I know that Krishna consciousness gives me well-being, gives me happiness. So in order to prevent the distress, I just stay in Krishna consciousness because I know it's going to be a side effect into it, but it's still a subtle material desire. It's not completely pure. So everything that I'm doing, that is still in the back of my mind, that is going to give me well-being. So I think all of us, most of us, are still in the platform of of these four impure devotees that still offer impure devotional service because they're waiting something in exchange to the Lord. So I was just explaining that. So yeah, most of us enter Krishna consciousness, join ISKCON because we were in those four categories, and most of us still are in ISKCON because we are still in those four categories and trying to move away. But Srila Prabhupada explains that those who come to the Lord in material distress and can become pure devotees, but by association of a pure devotee. Those that are frustrated and become inquisitive, they can also become pure devotees by the association of a pure devotee. And those with dry philosophers, I think he's referring to the Mayavadis, that want to learn about the Lord and render devotional service, they can transcend the knowledge of the impersonal Brahman and localize Paramatma, and then they can get to know Bhagavan by the association of a pure devotee. So in these three categories, like they can advance into pure devotees. It's like a reason to come and a reason to stay, but just by the association of the pure devotee, one becomes purified and that disappears. I have been explained that, talking with elder devotees about this matter, that, for example, in my case, the distress, it will just go away because when you are completely surrendered to the Lord and you are in the mode of like helpless and completely dependent in the mercy of the Lord, you just, this distress minimizes very much and disappears. And then you can eventually offer the pure devotional service. So it will just disappear if you continue staying for a long time. I believe in Krishna consciousness, in ISKCON. So eventually these devotees, they will understand that material remuneration has nothing to do with spiritual improvement, and they become pure devotees. When a person has transcended all these modes, then they're able to offer pure devotional service to the Lord. So now let's talk about a beautiful example. I was just talking about him also in the other class that I gave here. It's about Dhruva Maharaj. Is that he is a pure devotee of the Lord, but like when he decided to join Krishna conscious, when he started to begin his spiritual path, he didn't do it because he was seeking spiritual advancement. He had like material desires, desires of wealth, But eventually, by the association of a pure devotee, Narada Muni, he awoke love for the Lord and obtained liberation and became a pure devotee. So let's talk about him, and in that way we can really understand much better what is the Lord referring with Brahman, and what Srila Prabhupada is referring with Brahman platform. So what happens when a person reaches that stage? Let's talk briefly about Dhruva Maharaj, and for maybe the devotees online that are listening and don't know enough about him, just briefly. Dhruva Maharaj is the son of King Uttanapada and Queen Suniti. He is the grandson of Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu is considered the father of humanity, and Swayambhuva Manu is the son of Brahma. So it's a special person, no? That his family tree, you can tell, is a very special family tree. So he became upset because his stepmother Suruchi insulted him, and that was like something that made a change on him, and then we're going to explain how it happened. So basically, there was his brother Uttama was sitting on the lap of his father, the king, and Dhruva also wanted to sit there. But then the Queen Suruchi, for some reason, she became very envy and told Dhruva that he needed to be born from her own womb to be able to sit on the lap of his father. And Dhruva, being a child of 5, couldn't really understand that one queen was more important than the other, and that his mother was not considered the most important queen, and Suruchi was the one that it was the king cared much more about Suruchi, because she even said that in front of the king, and the king didn't ask her to be quiet, or she said that in front of the king, and the king didn't react. And then Dhruva left, and he was really upset. But before he left to his mother, Queen Suruchi told him that he needed to practice austerities to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, so in his next life he could be born in her womb and have the right to sit on the throne of his father. So Dhruva was very, very upset and went to his mother. And actually his mother, Suniti, gave him the same answer, that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead could help him. And then Dhruva said, how can I find the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Where is he now? And his mother said, saintly person usually find him in the forest. So he goes to the forest by himself, age 5, and starts asking to the trees and to the animals, where is God? Are you God? Where can I find him? And he was there for a while. And then what happens is that Paramatma in the heart, when Paramatma in the heart realizes that a person is seeking for the Lord, somehow he sends a spiritual master or some guru. Could be Siksha or Diksha Guru to help that person. So, because when the living entity seeks for the Lord manifests in the form of the spiritual master, and to give instructions on how to reach him. So in that way, Narada Muni met Dhruva Maharaj. And at the beginning, Narada Muni told him to go back to his home. He said not to take very seriously the insult of the stepmother. And he said that he was just a very little boy, age 5, and that he just needed to go back home because the austerities to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead were just too difficult for him. And to go back home, and when he will be much older, he should go back to the forest again and try again. But Dhruva Maharaj replied, I understand that your instructions are very valuable, but not for me. I am very disturbed and not spiritually inclined. I'm concerned with my material desire. If you do not if you do not tell me how to get what I want, do not tell me to go back home, but go back home yourself. This is interesting because this I read it in a Back to Godhead magazine. They use these words, but they are not exactly the same words in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But more or less, the idea is that, Dhruva Maharaj said that he didn't want to go back and to don't discourage him. So. If we think in Dhruva Maharaj, he could be like the perfect example of a person that is very determined to obtain wealth and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead to get it. But Narada Muni thought to himself, let him approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead regardless of the reason. So he decided to help him to attain the Lord. And so he started giving him instructions to help him in his spiritual path. And the first instruction was to go to the forest Madhuvana, where the Lord lives. Then to do postures and breathing exercises to subdue the mind. Actually, these instructions that Narada Muni gave to Dhruva Maharaj of breathing exercises cannot really be done in the present Kali Yuga. For us, it's more the chanting of the holy names to attain love for the Lord. But Dhruva Maharaj, at his time, he was doing that and following the instructions of Narada Muni. So doing the breathing exercises and sitting in special postures and also bathing 3 times in the Yamuna, 3 times a day in the Yamuna. And also he told him how to meditate in the Lord, and he described the Lord for Dhruva to be able to meditate the Lord in his to see the Lord in his mind. And Dhruva also gave him a mantra that is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and told him to worship the Lord in the form of his deity. So Dhruva had to make a deity with whatever he could find in the forest, and to meditate in the activities of the Lord in his different incarnations. So all of that Dhruva was doing. It was for a period of 6 months, I believe, that Dhruva was doing all of that. But Dhruva is a very special personality. We cannot really do the penances that he was able to do. No, he started eating very little, started drinking very little, became very good in all the breathing exercises, to the point that he was able to close all the holes in his body and stop breathing. So when that happened, the demigods start suffocating, it was like a reaction. And then they went to talk to Vishnu. And Vishnu said that he was going to go to talk to Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva was in his meditation, and then when the Lord was in front of him, he made him break his meditation and opened his eyes. And when Dhruva opened his eyes, he saw the Lord in front of him. And this is really lovely because this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This you can actually see that Dhruva Maharaj is a little boy, because as soon as he saw the Lord, he fell flat and offered obeisances and tried and embrace the Lord with his arms and start kissing the lotus feet of the Lord. That is because this is like a reaction of a child, This is lovely. An adult, I don't think will do that. Start kissing the Lord, but this is lovely. Yeah, he did that. That's in the Srimad Bhagavatam is stated, but he couldn't really offer prayers because being such a little boy, couldn't find the words to do that. But then the Lord realized that and touched him on the forehead with his conch shell. And then he was able to offer prayers, and he said many beautiful things. And then he said, persons who worship you simply for the sense gratification of this bag of skins, referring to the body, are certainly influenced by your illusory energy. In spite of having you who are like a desired tree and are a cause of liberation from birth and death, foolish persons such as me desire benedictions from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in the hellish conditions. This is very important, So he's just referring that like people can approach the Lord for like benedictions that can even be given in the hellish planets. And then he says something even more beautiful. I had been searching for pieces of broken glass, but instead I found the most valuable jewel. I'm fully satisfied, my Lord. I do not wish to ask anything more from you for your lordship. So then he was really feeling ashamed that he approached the Lord for wealth. After he awoke love for the Lord, he got lost complete interest in like sense gratification, and he realized that there was no happiness in that. Anyway, the Lord fulfilled his desire, and even more, he gave him the polar star, that is a planet that exists even after dissolution at the end of the millennium. And then he became the king when his father retired to the forest, and he was the king for 36,000 years. He was very good controlling his senses and got the blessing of never becoming old. After ruling the planet, for these years, he retired and went to the Himalayas. And when he was there, he forgot his bodily existence. That means that he forgot about the gross material body and the subtle body. So it was understood that he had attained liberation even within this world. And Srila Prabhupada explains, and this is when we're referring to the purpose of like being Brahman, like being Brahman within this world is a person like that can attain liberation in this world, because it's a state of consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada gives a very good example to help us understand how a person can be liberated within the body and within the material world. He gives the example of the dry coconut. When a coconut is completely dry, the pulp within the coconut separates from the shell. So in the same way, like the spirit soul is not attached anymore to the gross body. And even if you move the coconut, you couldn't even hear the pulp that is not attached to the shell. In the same way, though a person is still within the body, is not attached no more to that body when it's considered liberated. So that was the case of Dhruva Maharaj, and he can be considered Brahman, spiritual body. And when he started showing all these symptoms, a plane came from the sky, and with Nanda and Sunanda, that Vishnu does, and they would look exactly like Lord Vishnu with 4 arms. And when Dhruva saw them, he started offering obeisances and chant the holy names. And they told him that they had come to get him and to bring him to the spiritual planets. But before doing that, because Dhruva could realize that the Lord and his paraphernalia are not different, he started offering obeisances to the associates of the Lord as well as the plane. So when a person becomes liberated, becomes a paraphernalia of the Lord. Dhruva became a paraphernalia of the Lord, became a pure devotee paraphernalia of the Lord. But noticing that they came for him, he started doing like parikram around the plane. No? And when he started doing that, something amazing happened. His gross and subtle body started dissolving, and then he appeared as very brilliant and very illuminating, because he appeared like molten gold, because he was just his spiritual body. I think this question we had before: what happens with like the gross body and the subtle body? It dissolves. So he was going around that, and he was just brilliant because he was just his spiritual body. This is like a good example of what happens. What happens when you attain to this state of liberation. And while doing that, his body changed into the spiritual existence, and the gross and the subtle body dissolved. Therefore, he was illuminating like molten gold, and he became a paraphernalia of the Lord. And then what happened? That personified came. But he was not afraid of that personified. He put his 2 feet over that personified and climbed on the airplane. Because devotees are not afraid of death. Devotees know that, like, either if you cannot obtain liberation because you're not very much advanced, you will just attain another body of a devotee. The subtle body will take you to the body of a person that will become a devotee, or where you can become a devotee. So usually the devotees are not afraid of, normally they're not afraid of death, no? But what happened when Dhruva was sitting in the plane, he remembered his mother. This is lovely. His mother, Suniti. He thought to himself how he could not leave the planet and leave his mother behind after she gave him the instruction to go to seek for the Lord in the forest. So his mother is considered actually his Siksha Guru. Narada Muni is considered a Diksha Guru, and Suniti, the mother, is considered a Siksha Guru. So when he was there, he started thinking that he wanted his mother to go to the spiritual planets with him. But this incident proves that a pure devotee like Dhruva can fulfill all his desires by the grace of the Lord. So in the minute he thought about that, his desire became true, and the associates of the Lord told him that his mother was going also to the spiritual planets in another plane. So that incident can also show that a pure devotee can take his parents back to the spiritual world. His Siksha Guru, normally the Diksha Guru is much more advanced, but can take them with him, with her, back to the spiritual planets. So this is the wonderful story of Dhruva Maharaj, that attained a spiritual body while being in this planet. And became a pure devotee. He was a person that had a lot of material attachments, and then by the blessings of a bona fide spiritual master, and by following his instructions with determination, awoke love for the Lord and went back to the spiritual planets. So Srila Prabhupada explains, only devotees are eligible to go back to the kingdom of Godhead because they are peaceful, they have no demands for sense gratification, they are surrendered to the Lord, they're helpless and depend completely on the mercy of the Lord. They see everybody as conditioned souls within the body, and they don't discriminate based on the bodily conception. And Dhruva Maharaj, because he followed the instructions of his spiritual master, went back to the spiritual planets. And that's a lovely story. I have more things to say about the purport, but we don't have more time. So another time. So if you have any questions, it's I love Dhruva Maharaj, a lovely story of a child. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you so much for saying the story about Dhruva Maharaj.
Just trying to find something that matches the purport so it could really be explained,
Yeah, it was so nice because, I know the story vaguely, but it was nice you said it, in so much detail. I was really interested what you're saying about his spiritual body, and how he seemed really golden when he left it.
Do you realize that sometimes I don't know, some gurus, they kind of shine?
Yeah,
it's because the coverings are kind of dissolving, and then the spiritual body is shining.
Shining, yeah. That was kind of my question actually, because so many people said Prabhupada was just glowing.
Yeah, because of that. Because the coverings are dissolving,
Wow. Yeah, what else was I going to ask? So Dhruva Maharaj's planet is in
It's a polar
Vaikuntha.
star. I think it is said that the polar star is the only spiritual planet that can be seen from here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it can be seen, the polar star, yeah. And it doesn't dissolve. There's a lot of information about the polar star in the Srimad Bhagavatam that I was reading, but I could not really tell all of that here. Because, yeah, it gives a very good explanation of where it is and what are the planets around. And, like, yeah, it's lovely, lovely. Like, there's a lot to say about Dhruva Maharaj and the polar star.
Yeah.
It gives a very good explanation of the spiritual planets. Yeah, it's lovely.
Thank you. And then one last thing. So I don't know if maybe I missed it, but you were saying about how usually the Diksha Guru takes the disciple back, but did you say that the Shiksha Guru comes?
Yeah, like he had like two, Diksha Guru, Narada Muni. Diksha Guru is the guru that gives initiation, and Siksha Guru is a guru that gives instruction, and anyone can be your Siksha Guru. Any devotee, can be a Siksha Guru. And his mother was the Siksha Guru for him, The thing is, like, the mother could not really like do all the austerities that he did, as a woman, because actually almost no one can do those austerities, I think, also because he was in another era, another age, and he was who he was, that's the grandson of Brahma, like he could do all these things. But the amazing thing about him is the way he changed, because he was seeking for wealth when he went, and then he just forgot about that completely. So that proves that anyone can change that mood. And for us, we don't have to do those austerities in Kali Yuga. Actually, we are in Chaitanya, in the golden age of Chaitanya, so just by chanting the holy names of the Lord, we can attain liberation. But we need to have that determination to follow the instructions of the spiritual master, because he was doing everything that Narada Muni was saying. That's the thing. Everything, and very enthusiastic and with a lot of determination. And that gave him liberation. It's very important to find a spiritual master. Yeah, it's hard to find him. Yeah.
I liked how you were describing how someone finds a spiritual master is the Paramatma in the heart of the devotee.
Yes, it's the Paramatma in the heart, yeah. Because you are seeking for the Lord, because Paramatma gives you forgetfulness if you don't want to remember the Lord, but it also gives you remembrance. Like, so if you want to go back to the Lord, if you want to get in contact with the Lord again, Paramatma sends a spiritual master, because it's in the heart of everyone and the heart of the spiritual master too. In the heart of the demigods as well. It's amazing, yeah, Paramatma is amazing. Okay, thank you so much.
Grace Manimanjari Ki Jai.
Bless you. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Thank you. And then like these things start ringing, like making a little noise.
It's okay. Just whenever I'm not in the way.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. এই নাম গায়ে গোরাচাঁদ মধুর সদে, এই নাম গায়ে গোরাচাঁদ মধুর সদে। হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ, কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ হরে হরে। এই নাম গায়ে গোরাচাঁদ মধুর স্বরে, এই নাম গায়ে গোরাচাঁদ মধুর স্বরে। হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে। হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে। Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Bala Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bala Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Bala Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare এই নাম গায়ে গোরাচাঁদ মধুর সদে এই নাম গায়ে গোরাচাঁদ মধুর সদে হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে এই নাম গায়ে গোরাচাঁদ মধুর স্বরে এই নাম গায়ে গোরাচাঁদ মধুর স্বরে হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ হরে 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 রাম হরে Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare